Okay, so fatigue, low energy, and brain fog can be the primary symptom that somebody experiences, but the physiological and biochemical features of why they're experiencing fatigue can be completely different. For example, someone involved in a car crash experiences some minor injuries, but develops severe fatigue afterwards and has never been able to recover from it. Why? Well, resilience and the ability to recover from a physical or emotional trauma is a big part of this. And of course, the question is, why do you have poor resilience or an inability to move back towards balance or homeostasis? Many times it's something like inflammation brought up by a physical injury, which impairs bioenergetics. And many times we're on the edge of dysfunction, and it really just takes an injury or an illness to throw you over. Of course, we all too often assume that we're healthy as long as symptoms aren't present. And this is a big reason why some people even succumb to something like COVID, even though they thought they were healthy. Truth is, they were on the verge of disease and dysfunction, but had no symptoms or idea of it until COVID came along and threw them over the ledge. Don't be that person. Another example is someone who is tired all the time. Even when they exercise, they crash, or it's hard for them to recover even days after. Again, there's specific mechanisms here that need to be assessed and addressed. This could be something like low antioxidant reserves, poor oxygen delivery, or poor red blood cell function. There's many factors. Or why is it that some people can get exposed to something like Epstein-Barr virus or Lyme disease and have no symptoms whatsoever, yet other people are thrown under the bus, literally left with zero energy and motivation? Why would someone with EBV infections or anemia be completely exhausted, and then others with the same severity, anemia or infections, not have any symptoms or energy drops at all? Well, the answer to this question is the reason why fatigue and low energy is not a supplement game or a nutraceutical game. It's not just that one thing impacts energy production and function. There's many factors. Maybe you're not producing enough red blood cells to carry oxygen. Maybe you have nutritional deficiencies such as B12, folate, or vitamin B6 absorption problems because it's in your gut. Maybe you have insulin issues or chronic uncontrolled inflammation. Maybe you've had a traumatic brain injury and it's not physical energy, but cognitive energy deficits that you're experiencing. Maybe it's one of these things or a combination. Who knows? But what I do know is that all of these factors can absolutely be assessed and they can be addressed. What I'm saying here is that anyone who is suffering from bioenergetic problems, fatigue, low energy, etc., you have to understand the specific mechanisms that both optimize energy as well as disrupt it. And again, this is also why you cannot just supplement or stimulate your way out of it, because it's way more complex than that. I promise there's no energy pill or juice drink or even coffee that's going to fix your energy problems, at least not in the long term. So over the next few days, I'm going to be sharing information regarding how various states of health and how certain medical conditions can even impact our bioenergetics. Now, here's a list of disruptive energy factors, the things that can actually create problems for our energy. Number one, toxicity or toxic burden and chemical exposure or sensitivities to chemicals. Yes, some people are more vulnerable than others when it comes to chemical exposure. And this is just like certain foods. You have cytokine storms or uncontrolled immune function from infections or physical trauma. There's hyperinsulinemia or hypercaloric diets where you're getting too many calories but not enough nutrients. There's also the opposite of that, chronic hypocaloric diets where you're just not eating enough food or you're not absorbing nutrients from the food that you're taking in. We're absolutely some of the most well-fed people on the planet, but at the same time, we're the most nutritionally depleted because the foods that we're eating are not actually providing sustenance. There's drug-induced mitochondrial injuries from over-the-counter substances such as NSAIDs, aspirin, Tylenol, Benadryl, all of your antihistamines or allergy medications. There's Tamiflu, antibiotics, and all sorts of other prescription drugs that can really damage your mitochondria, which then negatively influences your energy production. And this is a big one because I guarantee it. If you have energy problems and you're taking medications, even if they're over-the-counter medications regularly, it's absolutely taxing your energy. Finally, you could have inflammation due to food sensitivities or food intolerances. Now, these are all the factors that disrupt energy systems in the body. What are supportive bioenergetic systems? What are the things that help to optimize energy? Well, you've got to fuel your mitochondria. You've got to have plenty of mitochondria. And this is why food and exercise is actually some of the best medicine. That's one of the best ways to optimize mitochondria. But simply eating good food is the first step. Whether your body can digest and absorb that food is actually the more important question. You've got things like oxygen delivery. And this is influenced from movement. It's influenced from breathing, the type of exercise that you're doing. It's influenced from sleep cycles. So oxygen delivery systems, red blood cell function is also another big one. You've got antioxidant status. In other words, do you have enough vitamin A? Do you have enough vitamin C, vitamin E? What about glutathione, which also brings up liver function? Is your liver functioning well? There's brain stimulation activities or a deprivation of that. Are you reading enough? Are you challenging your brain? Are you doing things like writing, balance activities, creativity, and meditation? Finally, there's optimizing hormone function, optimizing sleep patterns and or circadian rhythms. So ultimately, we need to look at what is disrupting energy production, how you use energy as well, and what is supporting energy production, and making sure that your supportive factors are actually outweighing your disruptive factors.